There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP Morning Show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bom dia. Dear Munson here from expertsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal show live streaming podcast. Now, I was saying oh dear there because behind the scenes I was doing some WhatsApp downloading. And for me, it was the processing power of the computer was struggling a little bit. Was that evident to you? And if it was, I am very sorry. I was just having a look at, I think, a chicken leg. Ooh, with some rosemary on it, possibly. The Festival Gastronómico do Cabrito e do Borrega, which I'll show you happening in Porto de Mos between the 9th and 17th of April. So worth a little bit of disruption, I think, to at least bring that to you this morning. How's it going? I'm bringing the microphone a bit nearer to myself as well in this cavernous and echoey room here. So, yes, some nice events to let you know about. And it is, of course, Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. Heronius Maximus, Michael Heron of Avanlight will join me at around 9 o'clock this morning. Oh, I better make sure he's got the risk of going to WhatsApp again. I'm just going to make sure Michael's got the appropriate link to join us today. And of course, you're welcome to join us too with your questions and answers. For some of you seasoned gumpers, you may well be on the side of the counter that is dispensing advice and information to people who are wanting to make a new life in Portugal and want to find out things about Portugal. So stand by for 90 minutes of such community activity where we endeavour to help people out on Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. It's an institution in its own right. We've been doing this for quite a long time now. And we have a number of correspondents, of course, on a Wednesday, including Doug, who I think is in France at the moment, the Doc, who I think is in Leiria, who may, of course, join us this afternoon if he's about from 1 o'clock till 3 o'clock this afternoon. And sometimes it drifts on even longer than that as we hang out and have a lot of fun. The Silver Coast weekly meetup is happening today. And I think people are descending upon that from all over the world today, which is great news. So I look forward to seeing you there if you're coming along. And if you would like the link to that, just drop me a line, 913-590-303. And we'll get you on the list so that you know when things are happening. And I'm wondering, do we eat out today or not? Cindy B, what do you reckon? And I think Cindy B's got some great news this morning, and we'll come to that in just a moment, as well as one of her yoga poses. Actually, let's start the show with a bit of yoga this morning. And I don't know why I haven't done this before. You may well be aware that we have our Vitality in Action, our 50-plus Vitality in Action group, and the Vitality in Action plan that's been going on. We're in our 13th day. And part of Cindy B's contribution is to give us a yoga pose every day. Look at this. Let me just take that off the screen for a moment so you can see what I'm talking about here. And this is how it all started. Garden yoga was what she said when we talked about this. What would you like to bring to the 50-plus Vitality party? Well, why not some garden yoga? She breathes in dirt and exhales flowers, it says there. Decades ago, it occurred to me how much yoga I was practicing while I was in my garden, says Cindy. So we've run with it. Garden yoga, everybody. I think I'm going to bring you a yoga pose every day now. Well, certainly for while the Vitality in Action plan is on. And this was the first contribution. Tree pose has always been so much easier for me, she says, when I've had something to concentrate on. Balancing a newly potted or newly acquired plant, or one that I just want to give some attention to, has been a way to do that. So practicality in the yoga there, not just contemplating the spiritual navel in abstraction, but actually being in the garden and doing some gardening stuff and doing the yoga at the same time. Plants are sentient after all, and I use this to introduce myself and make contact. I have to concentrate, to hold the pose, and the plant gets my full attention. There you go. So today, making contact, the tree pose for you. it's a new thing, really, isn't it? Garden yoga for you garden yogis this morning. We'll do another one of those tomorrow. Today's is fantastic as well. Today's is, let me just give you a couple of quotes of the day from it. Like a dolphin, which is happy, even this fits in so well, doesn't it, to what we do? Dimitri Martin quotes, Groucho Marx, who else? Bill Hicks, George Carlin, and now Mehmet Murat Ildan. Like a dolphin, which is happy even in the middle of giant waves and horrible storms, the wise man is also happy, even in the middle of a chaotic world. Isn't that interesting? And when tough times come, says Nikki Banas, on today's garden yoga share from Cindy, when tough times come your way, you have two options. You can either fight the waves or ride them. There's some advice for Nazaré as well. And today's pose, if you want to go over to, what I'll do is I'll put the link to that in the comments now and you can check it out for yourself. Resilient Gardener, the dolphin pose, and that's going into the comments right now. Lovely to see you all here this morning. How's it all going? Smash that like button. Has anyone said that yet? What is this? I prefer the pretending I'm asleep pose. It's taken years of practice, I suspect, that one. And here are the garden yoga poses for you. CindyBlackshear.com. Find them all there. They're really wonderful. Thank you so much, Cindy, for contributing those. And if you want to take part in any or all of the 6-pronged attack each morning, it's not so much. It's a dog with no teeth. A very sweet dog that's not going to bite you. It's a gentle fitness for 50 plus. And you can find 50 plus vitality over there on Facebook. We're having a lot of fun doing that. Let's say a Graham Norton quote this morning. My goodness. I've been told I look like him. And talking of chat shows, I was looking at the Jonathan Ross upload on YouTube, and Russell Brand's on there, saying things I'd never thought I would hear on TV. Quite extraordinary. What's going on? Those two back together again for a moment, at least, causing more trouble. Bon dia, alegria, gumpers from T-Duck in the comments this morning, and we're straight in with a Bill Hicks comment. If you're living for tomorrow, you'll always be one day behind. Yes, all very spiritual stuff this morning. Graham Norton, I wonder what Graham's got to say this morning. A good rule to remember for life is that when it comes to plastic surgery and sushi, never be attracted by a bargain. I thought that he was going to mix the two up there. What do you think of my new California roll look? Theodore Guys or Dr. Zeus, thank you for these T-Duck. Just tell yourself, Ducky, you're really quite lucky. Just tell yourself, Ducky, you're really quite lucky. Thunderduck, I'm sure, really loves that one and says that to himself in the mirror. Bon dia, Gumpers from James. Great to talk to you yesterday, James. Can't wait to release the plan we've been hatching together. Feliz Corta todos. Tudo bem? Sim, tudo bem. Muito bem, obrigado. And yes, language, culture. Philomena will be here. Philomena Friday. The man who sings that sent in a lovely photo this morning. I'll show you that in just a moment. Yeah, Philomena Friday. Now, what's Philomena saying to us? Would you? Oh, yes, of course I will, Owen. I will do that for sure. But Philomena was in touch yesterday, and she says, oh, she sent me a picture of a duck. You'll like this, T-Duck. I didn't see that yesterday. Anyway, my suggestion for this week is for Philomena Friday is talking about the 25th of April, the Revolution de Cravos, the beginning of a democracy 48 years ago. Yeah, so the 50th anniversary to be celebrated, of course, in 2024. And we have the words of Grandola Villamarena by Zeca Afonso. And more about that, actually, on Today in Portuguese History. Okay, so the prof isn't here this morning. I think he's got important business to attend to and may well watch this on catch up later, but he's left the Today in Portuguese History in my hands. What could possibly go wrong? The Dimitri Martin quote of the day, folks. I was making pancakes the other day. What does Dimitri Martin... Can I have a photo, James, of him so I can see if I can get the voice right, or maybe a video link? I was making pancakes the other day and a fly flew into the kitchen. And that's when I realized that a spatula is a lot like a fly swatter and a crushed fly is a lot like a blueberry. And a roommate is a lot like a fly eater. No, yes, there's a kind of variation on the 5-second rule there, isn't it? Looks like a blueberry. We'll just leave that in there. Bon dia, folks, from Barry. Morning, Barry. Can't stop, she says. I have to take the car to the garage. Hope to make it to the meetup later. Excellent. Yes. See you at lunchtime, I hope, buddy. Hope it all goes well with the car and it's not too expensive for you. Welcome. Wonderful Wednesday and all you gumpers. Gary, you seem as though you are in better spirits this morning. I'm glad to see that and hear that this morning. Hope you're well, all of you over there in UK. Chris Smith, might see you, Chris, today, I hope. Morning all from Chris, who's enjoying himself. Let me just remind you, this is how Chris is enjoying himself. Look at that. Does look like a fine bottle of wine. Was it good, Chris? Was that a nice red? And was it from the Alcobaça region? I was in Tamar yesterday. I had a lovely time in Tamar. And grabbed a bit of shopping on the way back in Alcobaça. And I was at the Alcobaça Cooperativo, I think. The one of the wine producers, one of the wine producing facilities is next door to the Lidl there. And that looks like a very fine bottle. I do like the label on that. No concession to modernity. They've stayed with what looks like, what is that? Not, like some old-fashioned printing press type edition there for the Centavo that you're drinking. How was it? Let us know. Give us some tasting notes, if you will, Mr. Smith. Marty also, I'd see you later, Chris, I hope. Bon dia, Gria, you gumpers. Yeah, gumpers, you. Hola from Coimbra. Wow, Marty's in Coimbra. Fantastic. Easier to attend these events now that we are actually in Portugal for a visit. That's great news, Marty. How's it going? Come on, give us a bit more than that, Marty. And Coach Turner, excuse me. A little bit, something or other in my throat this morning. Bon dia, todos, tudo bem. We have 8-year-old granddaughter with us for a couple of nights. Yeah, it'd be good when Heronius Maximus joins me, and I won't have to do so much talking this morning. Anyway, we have 8-year-old granddaughter with us for a couple of nights. While cooking paella last night, I had a thought about balancing nutrition. It'll be in my daily tip video. They're coming thick and fast. Coach Turner, thank you for the video about knees yesterday, especially for me, Coach Turner. That's very thoughtful of you. Another one for you later on today, and a nutrition one. I think either later, maybe 3 videos from you today, or we'll save that one for tomorrow. Brilliant. Thank you. And to have fun with the granddaughter there. I'm sure you are. Excuse me a minute. Let me just have a quick cough. Just talk among yourselves for a minute. Yes, professional studios have a cough button. I hope that worked, me turning down my microphone. And I'll have a little sip of water as well. Look, Portuguese water. 10 litres of Mon Chic, pH 9.5. My favourite water to have in the studio. Comes in a cardboard box. Very stackable for you preppers out there. Preppers de Portugal. Yeah, that's delicious. Bon dia, alegria, gumpers. Officially a Portuguese resident. Woohoo! We need the applause. I'll tell you what, when I play the Today in Portuguese History jingle, which is of course, the Portuguese national anthem, that'll be for you as well, Cindy B, this morning. So excellent news. Well done, Cindy. How was it? How was the process? Easy to congratulate you here this morning after the event, but it must be always very nerve-wracking for people leading up to that. And if you can tell us at all what it was like, Cindy B, that might help others going into that process not to worry too much about it. I guess being prepared is what it's all about. As Nuno Mendes from Insurance, the Scoutmaster, I'm sure would tell us. Right, bon dia, Carl and friends. Hello, Catherine. Kate, see you this morning. Also, what should I say this afternoon? See you later on this afternoon for the meetup. Bon dia to you, Kate. Looking forward to seeing you. OLP, bon dia, alegria, gumpers. How you doing? Wouldn't it be great to be able to say that to you as well, OLP, and see you over here on the Silver Coast at some point. Sharon H is here. Hello, Sharon. How are you? Parabéns, Cindy B. Parabéns, Cindy B. From James as well. And from the OLP, congratulations on your residency. And a woot from Marty as well, which is great. Jean is here, everybody. How you doing, Jean? Olá, pessoas. Feliz quarta-feira today. And a promissory on the horizon. Nice. Excuse me, need the insurance sorting today. Well, good luck with that. We know somebody good in that business, Gary Yorkle. So a promissory note on the horizon. Looking good then for this house sale, which has been an absolute roller coaster ride for you, hasn't it, and family. Fingers crossed and good luck with that today, mate. And to Jean and Banana Slug. Oh, Banana Slug is back. Looked into tap from San Fran. Thanks to all that helped. Much appreciated. Oh, so your plans to be here coming on at a pace. Fantastic. Good morning, everybody from Joao F. Today, I'm starting at the start. It's a very good place to begin, isn't it? Let's start at the very beginning. Sam Nazare. Good morning, all from Australia. How you doing, Sam? And bon dia, beautiful people from Owen Lloyd Martin. Owen, we're talking about Portugal's World Cup dream with Heronius Maximus this morning. He knows a thing or two about football, does that fella? And I think he's a Benfica fan. So maybe we'll start with that this morning. And did he get that link? I'm a bit ill. What? Okay, so both of us then. That's going to be miserable, isn't it? From about 9 o'clock. Hopefully, won't cough and snivel over everyone. Well, thank goodness it's in this distanced medium, and where you won't have to worry about that. But he's not the May West either. Interesting. Hola, joie from Jean and bon dia from Sarah Yeoman. How you doing, Sarah? Congratulations, Cindy. Sweet Cindy. You are making large steps towards getting to be Portuguese. Isn't that fantastic? So the congrats all round for you, Cindy B, this morning. You of the garden yoga. And bon dia todos from Antonio F, who's also here. How's it going? Is yoga big in Portugal? You Portuguese fellas, João F and Antonio F. Is a big interest in yoga. Okay, yoga's popular all over the world, isn't it? Não tens que agradecer at Oregonians loving Portugal. It's quite difficult when you have to flex from Portuguese to English mid-sentence there. So, yes, what is that? Glad to help, I guess, from James. No problem. And hola, Oregonians, that's great. Maybe we'll meet in the Algarve. Yeah, what's your trip looking like, OLP? What have you got on your itinerary? Itinerary ideas, of course. Oh, that reminds me, yeah. Do you get that thing where you think something is said and it reminds you of an email or a message you haven't answered? Just at that moment there. If you're listening and we were in conversation about the itinerary suggestions, the serving suggestions when scouting in Portugal, I will get back to you ASAP after that reminder. Thanks, Jean, for that. And we also have, I prefer, oh, yes, that was a great comment. Thank you from earlier on. The pretending I'm asleep pose. Let's have a picture of that. Mrs. Duck, can we have a because he's not going to be able to do it himself, is he? Mrs. Duck will be no stranger to that pose where you're pretending to be asleep and not helping around the house there. T Duck, and congrats from Antonio F to you, Cindy, on your residency permit as well. And yes, that's the link if you want to try the daily yoga. I was going to say not especially difficult. Just depends, doesn't it, on where you're at and your standing. No pun intended. Your standing level of fitness, but go steady with any of the things that we've got going on in the 50 plus vitality. Start gently. If it hurts, stop. And get help, get support from the community. There are lots of people who I'm sure will be ready to help and support. Garden yoga is great. Kathy's enjoying that with a bon dia. Thank you, Kathy. Come on, Kathy, let's have a picture on Facebook there so we can see you and get to know you better. You had a very nice, beautiful and unforgettable trip in Portugal. Wishing you a very nice, beautiful and unforgettable trip in Portugal from João F to you, Marty. Yeah, likewise. Tell us more, Marty, if you will. And Marty says it's fantastic to be in the land of dreams. I forgot that photo, didn't I, from Owen this morning? Not any longer. There you go. Look at that for a sunrise. Should we just ponder that for a moment? Breathe out, everybody, and look at that beautiful picture of the dawn this morning in a place. Well, where are we? We're Silver Coast, inland there, where Owen is. Isn't that beautiful? Feeling that doing me some good. Just I'm unwinding as we speak. I thought it was pretty relaxed anyway, but that's taken me to a new level. Thank you very much. While we're there in the picture deck, look at this. A gastronomic festival, Festival Gastronómico do Cabrito e do Borrego das Serras de e Candeiros, Porto de Mos way, okay, for that from the 9th to the 17th of April. How about that? Looking pretty good, isn't it? And it's not a chicken leg after all. Moinhos Abortos, 9th and 10th of April. So it's all about the windmills, isn't it? Is it a spring thing? João, Antonio, why is the interest at this time of year and so much of it across Portugal in windmills? It's the time of windmills. The wind's getting up, possibly. So Moinho das Grutas de Mira de Air, Moinho das Pedreiras and Moinho de San Miguel, all of those around the Porto de Mos. Yes, I think Porto de Mos again, or Alcobaça way. And 9th and 10th of April, tours or open days of those particular windmill establishments. And there's even a website for the Moinhos de Portugal.org. How about that? There you go. I mean, I've seen this motif. If you look top left-hand corner of that poster, That's what that's what a windmill looks like in Portugal. Everything okay, Mrs. M? No, I've already made myself a coffee. Thank you very much. Which kind of reveals the fact that I didn't make you one, doesn't it? I'm in trouble now. Thankfully, I'm hidden by a poster. My embarrassment hidden by a poster on the screen. I'll make good to you later. Windmills here in Portugal, and yeah, I've seen that shape of windmill, and along the Silver Coast here, people do buy the disused buildings and turn them into homes, which must be a lot of fun, and that interesting sail design there. But who knew? Who knew that there was such a windmill tradition in Portugal, and now would appear to be the time to find out all about it. Fantastic. Thank you very much. I think those two in from Pam yesterday, and tomorrow evening on the webinar, Portugal Calling, on the first Thursday of every month. It is the Ask Our Expats hosted webinar from 7:30, and we're talking about volunteering in your local community. A great way to get involved with local life in Portugal. Pamela's done it, and she'll be talking all about it tomorrow, along with supported by some of the others in the Ask Our Expats team. Ask Our Expats, of course. Check out that tab on our website at expatsportugal.com. And another event news to share with you, this time going over to Martignal and a Ukraine fundraiser. We Help Ukraine does what it says on the tin for this particular event over there. Thank you, Rosa, for sending this over to me. And let me read through it for you now. So Martignal, We Help Ukraine is a fundraising dinner. Join our fundraising event at Martignal Cascais. There you go. So you see the picture of Martignal Cascais. If you've ever fancied popping along there to see what it's like, this may be a good time to do that and support Ukraine while you're about it. Ukraine, Portuguese heroes and the reality at the border is the theme of the evening. The event aims to raise donations for We Help Ukraine, a global help platform created to accelerate the match between who needs help and the ones providing help to the Ukraine conflict. Because there will be so much in there, won't there, with the logistics of that. People want to help, and it's important to get the right help to the right people, of course, or to the people who need it and who need it most and need it urgently. Find out more about how to help and listen to the stories of people that personally participated in the rescue missions with the great guest speakers from Câmara Municipal de Cascais. Visit Cascais, EO Portugal, and We Help Ukraine. It's €101 per person. 100% of it will be donated to the We Help Ukraine initiative. Miguel Pinto Luz, the VP of Câmara de Cascais, will be there, and he personally led a mission to Romania to bring back 229 Ukrainians to Portugal recently. Bernardo Correa de Barros, he's the ED. I'm not sure what that means, of Visit Cascais, but an important figure in Visit Cascais, the tourism, what would they be called? Tourism organization over there, who joined Miguel on the Cascais Camera mission to Romania. Thomas Champalimo is also there, entrepreneur, member of EO Portugal, and went with EO to Poland on a refugee rescue mission. And Hugo de Souza, digital entrepreneur and founder of We Help Ukraine, all speaking on that occasion. There they are in the pictures, as you can see there. A fundraiser, €101 to go, and all of it, 100% going to We Help Ukraine. There you go. At Martignal, Cascais, Lisboa, for you there. We're making our way towards 9 o'clock, whereupon Heronius Maximus will join us. Michael Heron of Avanlight will be joining us to talk about Portugal's World Cup dream and his dream of becoming, returning to better health. I think this morning as well. Possibly just finishing his breakfast at the moment. No, we're not bringing you on just yet. Take it easy. Don't get indigestion, Michael. And Rebel Mama is here this morning, everybody. How you doing, Rebel Mama? Great to see you. How's it going with the crocheting of your... that reminds me. With the crocheting of your red carnations. Let's do a little bit of today in Portuguese history, shall we? Okay, let's play the music. Right, so He's not here today. He's left this in my hands. So let's see if we can do this justice. I'm missing him. Are you? Let's take that off the screen for the moment so that we can pop this onto the screen. Important one today. I mean, they're all important in their own way, aren't they? But today in Portuguese history, everybody, and the connection between popular music and the beginning, the initiation of the Carnation Revolution here in Portugal, which will be celebrated on the 25th of April, of course, 25th of this month. 1974, Portugal's Eurovision entry. Paulo de Carvalho's Depois do Adeus. Since we said goodbye, possibly since the goodbye, scores 3 pontos. The song is later. Only scores 3 points. Anyway, it had its uses elsewhere because the song is later to be used as a broadcast signal at 10:55 p.m. on the 24th of April, 1974. Now, I've messed it up. Sorry, Prof. It's used as a broadcast signal at 10:55 p.m. on the 25th of April, 1974, as a signal to the MFA to prepare. This is the force, of course, that was to bring about and lead the Carnation Revolution here in Portugal. Let me just put that in for the sake of correctness and completion. That MFA reference is in there now. And then he goes on to say, this day in Portuguese history, let me put this in too and bring it onto the screen for you. The second song to be broadcast, making the actual start of military operations of the coup, was Grandola Vila Morena by Zé Afonso, I suspect, as he's better known or known colloquially to people. So isn't that amazing? You have the first song. That's not it, is it? Where's it gone? Oh yeah. You have Paulo de Carvalho and the Portuguese Eurovision entry as a sign at 10:55 to everybody to get ready. Incredible, isn't it? Because there wouldn't have been any SMSs or emails or anything like that. We're talking about 1974, folks. And then, because people would have listened to the radio, that would have been the medium, wouldn't it, of communication, generally speaking. So this song comes on, didn't do well in the Eurovision Song Contest, but it is used as a sign to the MFA at 10:55 on the 24th of April. And then when you have to wait and you hear this song, this one, and I can't play them at the moment because I'll get myself thrown off YouTube. Maybe we'll do this on our Bubble Off Centre radio show nearer the time, and we'll play both tunes. I think that's only right that we do that, DJ Duck. But look at this, Grandola Vila Morena by Zé Afonso is the start of the military coup. 1974, 25th of April. Incredible. Thank you very much, Prof, for that. This day in Portuguese history. I've got a lot of scrolling to do to get back to all your lovely comments this morning. The wine was delicious. It did not last long. That's the thing with delicious wine; it doesn't last very long, does it? I'm glad to hear that review. Any sort of more, any deeper tasting notes, top notes? Do you want to say more about it? Delicious will do. Delicious will absolutely do. And are you a red wine connoisseur, Chris Smith? Maybe you can. We can talk about red wine when we meet later on today. Okay, so who else is in this morning? Pete's in. Bon dia, Alegria. A quick one this morning, as I have welding with Alex. I love Philomena's video. Welding with Alex. What is that? Is that a thing? Is that is that another YouTube channel? Welding with Alex today on Welding with Alex. Bon dia to Joao F from the DJ Duck, aforementioned. And bon dia, Carl. Michelle's here from Australia. Hope you, Louisa, and the kids and pooches are all happy and well. We are. Thank you very much. And talking of pooches, I'm reminded, Michelle, thank you very much for that, that Andrew Gilchrist sent in a picture of Alpha. So let's put Alpha onto the screen as well. Talking of pooches, not many pooch and pussy pics recently. Here's one for you. Now, what's going on here? Did he take his Great Dane down the laundrette? Alpha, good morning to you, Alpha, who only eats tuna apparently, or is that at home in the utility room? Probably the utility room at home. Guardian of the washing machine. If Alpha decides you're not using the washing machine, you are not using the washing machine, are you? Look at that. Lovely. Thank you, Andrew. And yes, we haven't had any pooch or pussy pics for a while, so send in pictures of your pets, if you will. And yay, Cindy, congratulations to you. Is there a prepper community in Portugal? Oh, yes, Sam, there certainly is. And Bondi, off for a walk. Then lots of, it's surprising the amount of people who are putting those tins of kidney beans from Lidl in the darkest recesses of their pantries, along with a few packets of pasta at the moment. Bondi off for a walk. Then lots of solar water heater versus heat pump, bomb bush de color water heater discussions and quotes. We'll see you later then, will we, Andy? I hope so. Clear that throat. Don't know why it reminded me, but on Radio 4 yesterday, they said they remove a... Oh, no, I can't read that. Pete Bleach, you're a shocking man, honestly. Hola, bon dia, kids. A warmer, sunnier day here in Praia de Rocha. How's everyone doing? We're doing great. And we're doing even better now because we're going to bring onto the screen Michael Heron of Avanlight, everybody. Good morning to you, Michael.
Good morning, Carl. Good morning, everyone. How are you, mate?
I'm well, in a similar condition to you. A bit of a seasonal thing going on here. Have you got that as well?
Yeah. I've picked up this virus that's been going around. So yeah, not 100%, but I couldn't cancel you twice in a row. So I'm here.
It's very good of you to be here. We'll sniff our way through it, the pair of us, all right?
Exactly.
And I think people will understand this virus that's going around. I saw a Billy Connolly sketch, well, not sketch, a Billy Connolly clip of one of his performances. And even in, I think it probably would have been the 80s. And he just makes this really good routine about what we used to say then. There's a bug going around. And it's just such a ridiculous thing to say, isn't it? That there's a bug going around, and he goes into it. The Coast Guard looking. I think there's a bug coming in. You're going to the doctor and says there's a bug. It doesn't sound incredibly medical, does it, or scientific?
No.
The bug
No, it doesn't.
But we know exactly what it means, don't we? Especially when we experience it and don't feel 100% as I think you and possibly me are not this morning. But we will we will not let it get to us, will we? And we will look at Portugal's World Cup dream. But first, are you still a Benfica fan?
I am still a Benfica fan.
What happened last night?
Well, they're playing probably the best or second best team in Europe, which is Liverpool. And I didn't think they did too badly, to be fair. I didn't watch the whole game. I had it on in the background, but I thought they did well. Yeah. I mean, they only lost 2-1 in the end.
Okay. And there's a second leg to play, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a second leg to play. And there's no away goals rule anymore. Like they used to get like yeah, they don't do the away goals anymore. So if Benfica get the same, well, if Benfica score 1 goal in Anfield, then it goes to extra time. If it's 2-2. Whereas in the old rules, Liverpool would have gone through because they got two away goals. But that rule changed this season.
Why is that? Why have they done that?
To be honest, I was really skeptical about it initially because I'm quite old school. But now that I think about it, and now I've seen it played out, I think it's better because more games go to extra time.
Yep.
And it's just more even, right? Because you could have a freak result in one game, but then because you were the away team, you benefit from that. So I think in the end, it's better that it hasn't happened. It's more even now with the two games.
It made it a bit spicy, didn't it? It gave people, I guess, something to play for or play differently with that in mind. But yeah, that's an interesting development if you're into football. And I guess we always have this challenge, don't we, when you and I talk about football here?
Yeah.
You might lose.
There's a lot of US viewers, right? And obviously, I know that you Americans like your soccer, but God, that sounded Bristolian. What was that? That was terrible. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm never doing that again. But let's just say that we know our American cousins prefer American football to soccer. But
yeah. Do they prefer Rovers or City though?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that said, you see, there is something in it for everyone, I would say, because we have a controversial World Cup coming up, and he loves
it. He loves it. He's already stoking the fire.
Well, this is why I think Portugal.
It is controversial, not just because of, let's say, the manner in which the selection of Qatar, which, let's be honest, isn't necessarily a country one would associate with associated football prior to their bid. And nor did they have really much infrastructure. But aside from that, the main controversy, I think, has been around the time of year it's going to be hosted.
Yeah.
Because when they won the bids, obviously people like, hang on a second, the World Cup is from June into July. Are we going to play in Qatar? I don't know if you've ever been to that part of the world in July, mate, but it's like 45 degrees. So. the Qataris then said, "Oh, don't worry, we'll build stadiums that have air conditioning inside them, like really strong air conditioning." And everyone was like, "Nah, that ain't gonna work." So it's like, "Okay, well, we'll move it to your European winter," and everyone was like, "Okay, that's better." So bizarrely, the World Cup final, mate, is going to be played on the 18th of December. It's so bizarre. Like for me, fantastic, right? Combine my two favorite things, Christmas and the World Cup together, like happy days. But
Yes.
it's going to be odd. But I tell you, like not to talk about football too much. The thing that I'm most excited about is the fitness of the players because I think they're going to be in optimal condition because it's not going to be like what normally happens where they play at the end of a really long season. The fact that it's going to be in November and December, they're going to be in tip-top shape. So I think that's exciting.
Yeah. Okay. So they're shaking it up a bit, aren't they? This is, the reason I want to talk about it is because there's something for everyone in this World Cup. If you're politically minded, I think it is a bit of a. It's one that might be more interesting. Well, I suppose it was in Russia last time, which had its own angles, didn't it? It's no exception this time for people who aren't interested in football but are interested in politics and geopolitics. I think it's a fascinating thing.
Well, England's group, a primary example, we've got Iran and the US. I mean, that's going to be really tasty, and then possibly Ukraine as well.
Yeah, incredible. And have the Russian team already been expelled from the World Cup? Is that I'm not up to date with that.
They didn't qualify anyway, but yeah,
so that didn't have to be faced. Okay, that's interesting. All right,
but they would have been banned anyway.
Okay, and the biggest reason to talk about it, of course, is if you're interested in Portugal, in some way you do need to embrace football. I think you need to know about how much Portuguese people love football, and that's why we've talked about it before, and that's why we've talked about it today. And it will be a poignant one, won't it? Because we have, although he may be in tip-top condition, Cristiano Ronaldo, Cristiano to his friends and Portuguese people here, or just CR7. This will probably be his last as a professional. Do you not think? Or
I don't know. We keep saying that every World Cup. I don't know. I mean, the guy is 37 now.
Yeah. Okay.
38. Sorry. But I mean, he's a machine. The thing is, the decision will be his. This is the unique thing about it. He will decide if it's his last World Cup or not. Like if he wants to carry on playing until he's 45, I think physically he could. And I think Portugal would still pick him. So I think it will be his decision. I'd imagine so. I'd imagine it will be because I think the guy loves his football and he wants to carry on playing for as long as possible. And he's had a really disappointing season in Manchester, not because of him, but just the state of Manchester United has been a bit of a shocker. So I think probably he wants to. And it's if you play international football as well as for your club, you're adding at least 6, 7, 8 matches a year to your calendar, and then the friendlies and having to travel. And normally, if you weren't involved in international fixtures, you'd have like a 2-week or a 1-week break 3 or 4 times a season. So I think a lot of players they retire from international football to prolong their playing career, which is insane for him because he's still old. But yeah, I think it probably will be his last World Cup. And they've got a tough group, They've got I think Ghana, Uruguay, and South Korea, so it won't be easy. It won't be an easy group for them. And it's still going to be warm in Qatar in November. So I've got a feeling we're going to see maybe the first African team win the World Cup this year. I've got a feeling maybe Senegal. Possibly someone like that.
Because of the sort of attunement to the conditions.
Because of the weather and because I don't see any team from South America particularly strong this year. So I don't see Brazil particularly strong or Argentina. So I think someone like Senegal, Ghana, Cameroon, someone like that might have a good chance. But let's see. I'm still hoping England can do it. But
that's why it's so important here in Portugal. If you're going to be living here or moving here, that's why it's really important, I think, to share in the dream of a Portuguese win, as unlikely as that might be. And I think when I've asked people about this, people aren't especially hopeful, but they are still hugely patriotic and hopeful.
Yeah, the whole country comes to a standstill, mate. I mean, it's crazy. I remember when I first got here, 2014. I was working for a Portuguese company, and literally when the Portuguese matches were on, they just stopped working. They'd have like one of the big rooms would have the TV on, and everyone would congregate to watch it at like 3 PM. I've never seen anything like that. Sorry, just excuse me 1 second. I'm just going to blow my nose and turn the camera off. So.
I'll bring you back in. I'll bring you back in just a minute. So, any questions about Portugal? Of course, that's what we do on a Wednesday. But anything about Portuguese football and Portugal in the World Cup this year in Qatar, of course, and the final that will be played. I didn't know that, the 18th of December. How unusual is that? And if it's anything if you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, I am getting interested in Portugal. I do need to know a little bit about football. There are no silly questions. I asked Michael very silly questions about football, so there are no silly questions about football. If you don't know the game and you want
Portugal. So I know some of the viewers who watch every day and have been watching for a couple of years will, have heard this a million times. But any question about Portugal, ask away. That's what I'm here for. However basic or there's no such thing as a silly question. So please feel free to ask anything.
Or as I heard the other day, the only silly question is the one that didn't get asked.
Exactly. There you go. That's amazing. Yeah. I'm going to remember that. Perfect.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Hola, bon dia, kids. Thank you, Victoria, for your greeting from the south this morning. And hi, Sam, fellow Australians speaking to each other this morning. We had to buy a number of bottles from the Quinta dos Capuchos winery nearby. Great people, excellent wines. Sign up for a tour if you haven't been. Okay, that's another thing to stick on the list, everybody. The Quinta dos Capuchos winery near Alcobaça. Excellent stuff. Dougie, talking of wine and great gastronomic delights, of course, that France is known for. I don't know, Dougie. I think Douglas actually prefers Portugal, but he finds himself in France this morning. So it's bonjour to you, Douglas, over there in France. How's it going? Mon Chic sounds French, but it's not. It's down in the south, in the Algarve. Lovely little town it is. Thanks, Coach Turner. Seems to be a centre for bike riders. Has a great cafe and bike shop right in the middle called Velochic. That's a good name, isn't it? Good coffee and pastries at Velochic and around there. And parabéns to Cindy. Michael, Cindy B got her residency at CEF yesterday.
Oh, fantastic.
It's official. So that's great, isn't it? Well done on that. And she says, muito obrigado a todos para o parabéns. Yeah, thank you for all your congratulations there. Superb. And thanks to EI, she goes on to say, the most difficult, as Gilda, of course, joins us every Monday. And, we're doing questions about anything to do with Portugal on a Wednesday. And here with Michael today on a Monday, anything about migration, of course, and visas. Most difficult part of yesterday's visit to CEF was the 2-hour round-trip drive to Santarém. So if that was the worst of it, that's not too bad, is it? Yeah, a bit stressful, I guess, if you've got to drive yourself and navigate into Santarém there. That's an at comment. I'm so sorry. People missing each other. That's sweet, isn't it? And Carl, regarding yoga, I only know one person who does yoga, as far as I remember. So maybe perhaps I was asking the question, Michael, if yoga is popular in Portugal. I think among the urban, what would they be called? The urbanites of Lisboa, the lettuce eaters, of course. That would be synonymous with doing yoga, wouldn't it? Eating lettuce and doing yoga in the capital.
Yeah, I can't imagine in the sticks there'd be much. But you'd be surprised. I mean, you'd be surprised that these sort of little town halls that have all these sorts of events going on. In fact, recently we discovered in São Domingos Arana they've got all sorts going on at their local thing. There's like painting classes and all sorts of stuff going on. So I think Portugal is becoming more global, even in the more remote areas. So you'd be surprised what you can.
Well, a good example of that, when I lived in a little village in the Aveiro district, and there was I don't know if it was a civic one or a private one, but it was like a fitness center. And they did a lot of classes, and they had Zumba. Zumba's very popular, I think, here in Portugal. Yeah. And they also had Boom Boom Brazil classes, which I was tempted to go to. And that's very global, isn't it?
I'd love that suits you perfectly.
I wasn't quite sure what it was, but I was intrigued enough to consider it. Isn't Cairns a stack of rocks? Ask anything about Australia as well this morning, by the look of it. Cindy B from Rebel Mama. We had our CEF in Lisbon, which is a 5-hour train trip for us one way. I say you had it easy. So true. Michael disappearing from time to time because he's battling cold symptoms there. Had to buy a number of bottles. Are you going to tell us that you were forced to do it, Chris? Maybe you would have felt uncomfortable leaving with only one bottle there. It can be like that, can't it? I think there's so you did this, Michael. You go to a wine shop,
Yeah.
Do you tend to spend more money than when you go into a supermarket because you don't want to look tight, or I've had that. I've come out with much more than I've wanted in a wine shop because I don't want to look in any way mean or uneducated.
No, I don't think so. Because I think quite the opposite. In fact, I think sometimes if you go into a wine shop and just pick like a 50 or 40 or even 30 euro bottle of wine just to try and look like a connoisseur, then I think they smell you a mile away. I think the better thing is to ask them. Is to just plead ignorance, right? Just say, look, educate me. Tell like what I always do, and I think we've discussed this before. I just tell them what I'm going to cook for dinner that evening and what wine they'd recommend, and to maybe give me 3 different options at 3 different price points, and then I'll probably buy like 2 bottles. But no, I don't think you should ever feel obligated to spend more money than you want to. I know what you mean though. There's more like of a if you go to a supermarket, there's like a disconnect, isn't there? Because you buy the product and then the person scanning it doesn't give a monkeys. But when it's there and that you're buying the wine from the wine merchant, literally, then I guess there's more of a margin to feel judged. But it's all in your head.
I've come out with honey, like local honey. And then there's a bottle of olive oil or beer or something, a craft beer, and you think, oh, well, that looks good too. So I think part of it is the social pressure and perception of the owner. But you're absolutely right about that how friendly and helpful people are in the wine shop in a way that's the garrafaria, isn't it?
Yeah. But you can feel judged, mate. Like, and I'll give you a good example of this. But this didn't happen to me. But you can imagine it was me, sort of 7 years ago. But there was this young guy, must have been a few years younger than me, standing in the queue in front of me to pay at the supermarket, and he was clutching under his arm like a huge bag of like nappies, or what the Americans call diapers, but they were for a newborn. So he'd obviously just had a baby. Excuse me. And in his right hand, he had a 1 litre bottle of whiskey. And I was like, yeah, in there, mate. In there. No judgment here, my friend. I know exactly what you're going through, buddy. Like both objects are completely fine by me. But somebody else may have been like, "Oh, this isn't good. This can't be good." And then everyone's thinking, "Is it for the mum? Is it for the mum? Is it for the mum, or is it for him, or is it for the grandpa?"
Or the baby,
or the baby, yeah, or the baby.
And the funny thing is, he's probably sent out for loads of things and forgot most of them, and just came back. I've got the nappies, the diapers, and the whiskey. What else was it you wanted? Because I just had a blank when I got it.
Quite possibly. Yeah. Quite possibly.
Where are the bin bags and the washing up liquid? I just blanked out when I got in the supermarket. But yeah, wine shops, please go to a wine shop here in Portugal. The people are not pretentious. Yeah, I guess it's different. I can imagine being in a French wine shop and being under a little bit of pressure as a British person in a French wine shop. Here in Portugal, as Michael suggested there, tell them what you're cooking, tell them what you want to spend. Say maybe what a region that you'd like to experiment, and the people will be so helpful here. That's my experience.
And what you like, and if you're coming from, say, the US, where maybe because of where you are in the world, you don't get access to as many European wines, maybe tell them what type of wine variety you're used to drinking and what you like, and then they can tell you, based on that, what you might like from Portugal. And as we've spoken about it before, Portugal has a lot of variety, but also don't expect to go into a Portuguese garrafeira or wine shop and find French wine or Spanish wine or Italian wine. It will all be Portuguese. In the supermarket, so my friends always laugh when they come to visit, because we'll go to the supermarket and they'll be like, sort of 12 rows of like Portuguese wine, and then right at the end on just one little shelf there'll be like 1 row for international, and it'll be like 2 French, 2 Italian, 2 Spanish, maybe a Chilean Merlot and an Argentine Malbec if you're lucky, and that's it. And then the rest.
That's a lot. Yeah, that is your lot.
If you want the definition of patriotism, then there is no bigger example of that than that situation in a supermarket, for sure.
Yes, so true. It's amazing. It's quite extraordinary. Bon dia from Pam as well, who'll be here, of course, at the webinar tomorrow, talking about volunteering in Portugal and getting into your community that way. What a beautiful sunrise. Thanks for sharing. I think I need to show that again. This is Silver Coast interior. Wow. Isn't that beautiful this morning? I'll take your comment just out of the way for a minute there, OLP. But that's superb, isn't it? With the wind turbines there. Possible vision of the future. in a net zero world, perhaps.
The present.
Well, yeah, and the present over here in Portugal for sure. And with yoga, says Jean, maintaining your form in the pose is more important than how deep you go. Push yourself to the edge of your ability, but not beyond. That's good life advice as well, isn't it? I think. Thank you for that, Jean. Banana Slug is back. Guess who's back? That sounds familiar. I think it is named after some chap there. Michelle, thank you. And Matty's back as well. Look, hola, bom dia, alegria a todos de Amsterdam. Bad internet connection since I cancelled my provider. Well, that would happen, wouldn't it? Using neighbour's Wi-Fi, but bad connection. Hope I can see all, and then gets cut off. But great to have you here, Matty. I do enjoy these shows. You and Michael have a great rapport and great giggles. Yay. Yes, we do. Well, it's got worse than giggles sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We have been known to corpse here, as I think they say in the trade. Bon dia todos from Jim as well. I think maybe Peter Bleach was trying to do that to us earlier on. Pam Smith. Oh, Pam. Oh, the Capuchos wines are delicious. Indeed they are. Indeed they are, says Chris there. And this was, I don't know if you had anything to add to this. I thought this was really special, Michael. In the days before text messages, if it were to be a revolution now, it'd probably be done by text, wouldn't it? But in those days, two popular songs were played as the cue to the MFA and to those planning a coup. They heard the first song to get ready, and then they heard the second to go for it and do it, which was quite an amazing thing to do in the popular culture of the time. Chris Smith, are you sure you're able to drink it all by yourself? Just asking. You might need some help with that. That's fine. Invite yourself, Joe F. I'm sure you'd be great fun to have a drink with, and looking forward to doing that one day. Oh, and Matty, who had the Tesla prang, a cyclist ran into you, didn't they, Matty? Still waiting for the car to return. One important part is still missing: the steering house. That sounds very German, doesn't it? The steering house. Yes. And I do not have the ETA of delivery yet, so repairs are at a standstill, even for a Tesla, the cutting edge of motoring technology, but not when you want it repaired. What's your view on electric vehicles, Michael? Are you considering getting one?
Do you know what? It's fascinating that you asked me that, because as you know, I edit for this magazine called Iberian Lawyer, which is even too niche for this audience because it's just literally legal sector in Spain and Portugal. But I am sorry, I interviewed this guy who's he's not a partner, he's like a senior lawyer at Clyde & Co in the UK, which is like a big law firm, and he works a lot in Africa and commodities and oil and gas. And he was basically saying to me that electric is great, but for Africa, it's a huge problem because you're not going to be able to, because the conditions aren't suitable for batteries, for example. And he was saying, you're not going to see Tesla trucks in Africa anytime soon.
Really?
Yeah. And apparently, with oil, it's not just petrol, but there's a lot of other products that are extracted from it, used, for example, to build roads and that sort of thing. So oil isn't going anywhere anytime soon, regardless of what big oil companies say about their target to have net zero by, like Galp have got net zero target by 2050. They're not going to do it. There's too much money in it. There's too much money in it. But I think for the planet, we need to transition to electric cars as soon as possible. And I think in Europe that will happen in the next 20. In our lifetime, we'll see it for sure.
Wow. Remember where you heard it first? From Michael Heron of Avanlight, who's with us this morning. 20 red carnations finished. Well, tengo hospedage de Reino Unido a mañana, so I will be doing the remaining 8 when they leave. A próxima semana. So next week, the completion of all those lovely red carnations. Love to see some photos of those sometime soon. Cindy B, I believe congratulations are in order. Yes, it is a congratulation. A parabéns fest for Cindy B this morning, which is great. I'm loving it. So much talk within the community. Any questions, though? Anything about Portugal? And we'll come
By the
back
way, before I forget, one of my friends has just messaged me and kindly rectified my mistake earlier. So Benfica didn't lose 2-1 to Liverpool. They lost 3-1.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I don't like to challenge you when it comes to football matters.
Oh, you should have. See, that's how little I know about football these days. I don't have time to follow it as much as I used to. So
you must be busy. I will do my best to keep a bottle or 2 in hand. We might actually be in your town before we leave would love to share a bottle or two. Isn't that lovely? Fantastic. Bring wine. Go see Joao F. Bring wine. Bon dia from Capricorn 12. Chris, how you doing? Like a sound that lingers in your ear, but you can't forget from sundown to sunset. Oh, guess those lyrics. Do you know these? I know them immediately. One of my favorite songs of all time, Michael. But you can't forget from sundown to sunset. Now it's all in the air.
Right.
You got to hear it everywhere. No matter what you do, it's gonna grab a hold on you. Now, to me, this is a sublime song because there are different versions of it. Coca-Cola used it, I think. But the sweetest version of it is Tammy and Marvin singing California Soul to each other.
Oh, okay.
And yes, songs that sum up. I don't know if you would agree with me, but songs that sum up the Californian atmosphere, like Why I Came to California, Leon Ware, and California Soul, are so transferable and applicable to Portugal.
Yeah,
The light. Yeah, we said it before, haven't we? The California of Europe. So you could put you could change the lyrics with California Soul to Portuguese Soul and have the very same sort of sentiments expressed in that tune. And so I think that might be track of the day from Chris there. California Soul. So sweet to see Marvin and Tammy singing that to each other. Go on, mate.
No, just saying perfect. That's fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. What is this? I think there's a lot of talk about Joao F and taking bottles of wine to his house. Talk of football has brought to mind something I missed from the UK. What? Shock horror. I've never been able to find a World Cup or European Cup wall chart.
Pamela, you're a lady after my own heart. I completely agree, but I haven't seen them even in the UK for a while. I think they're a thing of the past. But yeah, in Portugal, I don't know, maybe there's a newspaper that has a supplement at the beginning of the tournament, or maybe it's just a UK thing. The sticker thing, 100% is a UK thing for sure. I haven't really seen them in Portugal. And the wall chart thing, yeah.
We might have to make our own, might we? We might have to have a good morning Portugal.
We could make our own.
Wall chart. And Senegal, minha filha, half Senegalese, one of Rebel Mama's kids there.
Oh, wow.
Did you say the Senegal are in the same group as Portugal?
No, Ghana, but Senegal are like my dark horse to win it. I think they've got a really good chance of winning.
Really? That would be an upset, wouldn't it? And a very interesting win for World Cup 2022.
Good team. They won the African Cup of Nations a couple of months ago. They're a good team.
Really okay, that'd be very interesting. I mean, what an amazing thing for Senegal itself to be celebrating a World Cup victory. Yeah. So an interesting one for all sorts of reasons then this year. Yeah. And we'll be rooting for Portugal and England, of course, as we do, riding two horses until the inevitable moment when we lose possibly one of them.
Yeah.
And then maybe the other. But it's always great fun. And I remember watching with you.
That was a great World Cup. That was a great
really good fun watching with you. Bon dia from Jeff Owen. Good morning, Jeff. How are you this morning? And windmills. Do you know, not the windmills of your mind, but the windmills of Portugal? It's a big thing that I didn't really understand. As far as I understand, the question about the windmills was, what is it about the open windmill season in Portugal at this time of year? Is it a tradition? If anyone, you should know. Well, yes. Okay, so Antonio F. Why would Antonio F. know about windmills? That's interesting. Want to find out more about windmills in Portugal, please? This is the place to do it. Ask anything about Portugal Wednesday. 46 people watching and only 12 likes. I think Chris is outraged and disgusted by this lack of liking going on this morning. Hit the like button. He's being very frank with you. Ty is here. And I am European, says Ty. Hola, bon dia por todos. Looking forward to Lads Day Out with Ian looking at motorbikes and the fish pet shop. You've changed, Ty.
That's an extremely strange Lads Day Out.
It is ending up in a pet shop. But, you know,
why pet shop? I need to hear more details about that, I'm sure. Well, that's a typo. That's a typo for something else, for sure.
The pot shop, but they go into the pot shop.
It means fish in a different sense. I don't know what's going on there.
Okay, Ty, please. You know, we're not casting nasturtiums over your Lads Day Out, but there's no mention of beer there, is there? But a mention of a fish, an unexpected item in the Lads Day bagging area there. The fish and the pet shop. Let us know more. Oh, maybe fishing. That's a bit of a lads thing. I mean, me and Jay over here in San Martin de Porto want to meet somebody local who will teach us how to fish. If that's you, get in touch. That's my question this morning. Brave man telling this lot. Morning, Stephen. How are you?
Morning,
That
Steve.
used to happen in some workplaces in the UK, tripping off to the pub in the afternoon. Yeah, but not in the workplace, right? You had to go sick, didn't you? Or make
Yeah.
up some spurious excuse or work
Yeah.
from home or something like that.
Remember Desmond Lynam's famous introduction to England's first game of the 1998 World Cup at Tunisia, which kicked off at midday, and he just started, "Shouldn't you be at work?" It's absolutely brilliant.
He's a legend. What
Absolute
a guy.
legend.
Yes.
The Rolls
Yeah.
Royce of broadcasting, of sport
Yes,
broadcasting, in my
indeed.
opinion.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Worth looking up, Des Lynam on YouTube.
Yeah.
Not now,
Yeah.
though. I don't know
No,
the reason.
definitely not now. No.
The commemoration only
Carl's
started.
got to pay his bills.
Got bills to pay. Stay where you are. Hit the like button. Stay where you are. Might be spring related. This is for windmills, isn't it? The great windmill mystery of Portugal. Tell me about snail season. Oh, I often see people on roundabouts.
Yes. Yes. No, it's because they eat them, mate. So it's the same in Spain.
Oh.
In Spain, it's called Época de Caracoles, and it's always around sort of April, May. And you go for a beer, and you have your little bowl of snails in your beer. It's fantastic.
Not in your beer, next to your beer.
No, next to your beer, yeah.
Yes, not a beer trap, because that's how some gardeners catch slugs and snails, of course, is in a beer trap.
Is it?
Now, yeah, the thing about snails here, caracois.
Yeah.
Yes, and this is something I want to ask you about Portugal, Michael. So this reminds me, and in the snail season, and some places have them all year round because I think they're probably frozen as well. But it's like caracois, isn't it? So when you see a sign at a restaurant and it says it's like here we have, isn't it? Or you can get them here, but it's simply in Portuguese isn't it?
Yeah.
Caracois, or churrasqueira, or something like that. But the thing about the snails here, the caracois, and I tried them with my son. We had a lad's lunch out.
Nice.
And we went along to a cafe in San Martino de Porto, and we thought we'd have snails. They're tiny, aren't they? In Portugal, they're not your escargot. So as a kid, I grew up eating escargot from time to time, which I really loved. The French snails in garlic butter.
The aristocrat that is Carl.
Yes, I had a cravat. Yeah, a little cravat at the age of 12, and a monocle, and I'd go to the restaurant.
It suits you, my man. It suits you.
Yes, I don't do it so much these days, of course, but walking around with a cane and a monocle just, it causes ridicule and derision rather than the effect I'm hoping for. But so you'd have 6 of those bad boys, wouldn't you, in an escargot situation? Caracois, you get about 300 and a cocktail stick.
They're annoyingly small sometimes.
It's so small.
All the effort to get it out to then eat it's not worth it.
Yeah, so of the things you can have with beer here in Portugal, there is the tremoço, which is the bean, isn't it? The lupin bean, which be careful, folks. If you think you're being cool and ordering some of them yellow beans to have with your beer, make sure you take the outer skin off before.
Yeah. And that's years of practice, and then all of a sudden it's a quick bite, and they're out and it's off.
That's right, but good practice, right? Because it involves drinking beer. Yeah. And it's just, an experienced Portuguese gentleman will just be able to pinch it with thumb and finger, release the inner bean, as it were, and flick the bean into the mouth and to have with the beer there. And so
it's a great ritual to get into, because then you can have it at home as well, because they're so cheap. You can buy them in the supermarket, just these huge jars, in water, and tuck into that for sure.
Tremoços, and caracois, snails with the beer, a Portuguese thing. What other things are there to have with? Have we nailed it there with either the beans or the snails to have with beer? Not really. Peanuts and crisps aren't really a thing, are they, with beer?
They're not really like it's not like in Spain where you get given a tapa with your beer for free, or like in Portugal be a petisco, I guess. Maybe in certain parts of the country they do. But yeah, no, not really. There's not really a go-to thing you'd have with beer. I'd say like assorted like nuts or but yeah, nothing standard.
Interesting. I'm reminded now, and again, I don't know if you want to do this in a Bristolian accent,
1 second.
but I'm talking about. I'll wait till he comes back. And should we put him on the spot and ask Michael about the windmills? I don't know if we should do that, everybody. Chris, we've dealt with that, haven't we? Snail season, people collecting their own. Actually, a recipe wouldn't be a bad idea, would it? Because people are thinking snails. My goodness, you don't want to be eating slimy snails, but I guess you gotta blanch them or boil them very quickly, steam them possibly. And they're not done in the garlic butter here in Portugal. You can get the escargot from time to time, and whelks you can also get in Lidl. But it's the little snails, the caracoish, and you can buy them for use at home. But I'm imagining a quick steam deals with that sliminess, and then not much of a seasoning going on. Not much of a seasoning. Not much garlic in the caracoish. Quite plain, in fact. So yeah, I was just finishing off there with Chris about snail season. I think we've done that, and I wanted to talk a little bit about crisps, which of course are potato chips. If you want to do that in a Bristolian accent,
that was lovely. Thank you for that.
And flavors of crisps or potato chips here in Portugal, and it was my delight to introduce to friends Jay and Diane last night, who were around for the evening, the ovos rotos flavor of potato crisp. Are you familiar with these, Michael?
No, I'm not.
They are the egg. Well, ovos rotos is a Portuguese dish, egg and bacon, really. And it's nice with some fries. But there is a in Intermarché, they have an own brand, Porci own brand of crisp in the ovos rotos, and it is an acquired taste. It was Diane was appalled. Jay was it's a bit of a dad joke, because when you open the bag, it is as though somebody has passed wind. I mean, I don't know any other way to put it, frankly. It's eggy. And then only the most adventurous person will want to try that crisp, having opened the bag to release that aroma. But I love them. I have to say, I love them. I can imagine a lot of fun, like a dad joke scenario, somebody opening the ovos rotos crisp in the back of the car, and much mirth and merriment to be had by the whole family. So other exciting potato chip or crisp flavors, please share them with us, because I know you can get the tomato ketchup flavor, and you can get wavy, and you can get regular potato chips. Are you a fan? And do you have a favorite flavor, Michael?
Do you know what? It's strange, isn't it? Because there's so many flavors that are so unique to the UK, like salt and vinegar, prawn and cocktail, roast beef. I'd say for me, I'm quite a traditional person. I'd say like ready salted is sort of my.
You are, aren't you?
Standard.
Yeah. You don't.
I'm a bit vanilla when it comes to my crisps.
That's right. The away goals and crisps. You like it. You like to keep it real. Okay. Yoga is a big thing in Ericeira. Says James there. Do you partake yourself? And I think this would have been unfair, James. Ask Michael about the windmills. I mean, I'm guessing, but I suspect you're not an authority on Portuguese windmills, Michael.
Call me old-fashioned, but no, I'm not. If we're talking about wind turbines, if that's what people mean by windmills, then yeah, I can happily talk a little bit about it. I can talk a little.
No, the moinhos. It is the moinhos. What do you know about wind turbines then? Why do you know about wind turbines?
So believe it or not, the interesting fact, many years ago, about 20 years ago, I used to work for an eco centre in Swaffham, Norfolk, called Ecotech, and we had at the time the only and the highest wind turbine in Europe, with a viewing platform at the top. And I used to do tours up and down this wind turbine. Yeah, I'm not even joking, mate. So like I would then tell people about. He's laughing because he thinks I'm making it up, but it's the truth. And I would literally be able to tell you at the time, answer all sorts of complicated engineering questions about wind turbines. So, for example, did you know one of the he can't handle it. It's too much for him at this time of the morning. One of the big things in Swaffham, or in Norfolk, was people complaining about the noise. So they invented these gearless wind turbines that don't make any noise. So you can be like right next to it, and you'll just see it and hear a very light breeze.
Waft.
A waft. Yeah, but they're extremely energy efficient, because the problem with solar is you need a lot of land for solar panels, right? Whereas with wind turbines, you don't. And Portugal could power the entire country using renewables if it wanted to. So we're in a good position.
Wow.
Yeah.
And why is that not happening? Is that oil lobby or what?
Yeah, and tax as well. So here, 23% VAT, right? So, and the
I
tax is
see.
very high on. Yeah. So it's not, you can't tax wind, can you? Well, you can, but
I'm
it's,
sure they
no,
can find a way. They can find a way.
yeah.
Well, okay. Talking of wind, there is a rooftop yoga happening in Alvor on the 13th. That's the way to do yoga, isn't it? With wine and tapas. There are actually. I really enjoy. I went to yoga. I started doing yoga about 30 years ago, and
Really?
yeah, and I really loved it. It was really, it was gateway for me into a whole new world of oggly boggly new aginess. 30 years ago, and it was, it was really fascinating. I was the only bloke in the class, which had its benefits as well.
Sure, it
And I
did.
really loved it. I really enjoyed it, and I used to go for a pint afterwards as well. There was all that sort of spiritual posturing, followed by a good pint of beer.
With your fellow yoga enthusiasts, or no?
And I think I used to disappear as though I was going to watch a World Cup final secretly. I did that alone, or maybe with one of the other rebels from the class. But yes, it's sublime and the ridiculous. Fantastic. Enjoy that, Victoria. So look, tomorrow. This is what we've got there. Tomorrow is Dia Nacional dos Moinhos, and that's why there are lots of them open for visit. So it's National Windmill Day in Portugal.
Oh,
We have to
wow.
do something special tomorrow. We already have a wind
You
turbine.
could dress up as a windmill tomorrow, mate. That'd be fantastic.
Michael, why do you say things like this? I feel so. I mean, you've probably you've got the outfit, haven't you, from your last job? So I could.
No, they didn't give us. They didn't give us outfits. Could you imagine doing the tour with one of those ridiculous hats with the things on them? Like, no.
Okay.
No, you could buy like little replicas of the shop. I think you could buy.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that suggestion. I do yoga. I do yoga. So
we should Google it so people don't realize that I'm making fun. Let me have
no,
a look.
I wasn't laughing because I didn't believe you. It was just
No.
I honestly don't know why I was laughing.
But honestly, mate, Google Swaffham wind turbine, and you will see what I'm talking about. It's just one wind turbine next to this little shop, but it's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely.
Well, the cutting edge of environmental consciousness at the time. Morning all from Andrew, and bon dia, Carl. Extremely late, going to watch the show from the start. Good man, Deagle. Good morning to you. No red heron, but the score was 3-1. Is this your mate, Portugal boy?
No.
Right, okay,
Yeah,
we've done that correction. Portugal boy, we've done that correction, but thank you for that. I used to do classes. Now I just incorporate the postures in my regular workout. Yes, that's a good way of doing it. And you can do yoga in your everyday life, of course, can't you? And that's what the garden yoga is all about from Cindy B, of course, is the multitasking, really. Asking and not being pretentious is the right attitude. Absolutely right. And we're back to our wine conversation. We've got some catching up to do here, Mr. Heron. Michael, is there an agency in Portugal for the employment of people over 60? You've come back just at the right time to answer a question, mate. Is there an agency in Portugal for the employment of people over 60? I don't think there's any differentiation. I mean, wouldn't that be any employment?
European employment law forbids any company to discriminate anyone because of their age. So when you're applying for a job, you're under no obligation to put your date of birth, or for example, if you have a graduate degree, the year that you graduated, so an employer can work out your age, or your photo. So you're under no obligation to do that, because if an employer does do that, you can sue them. Likewise, with languages as well. So if someone in a job advert puts native speaker for Swedish or Spanish or French, that is also against European law as well, because you're discriminating against someone who could be perfectly fluent in a language, but they're not native to that country. So I think Portugal is quite compliant with these sort of things. Certain companies may have an enforced retirement age.
Yeah,
but I don't know how legal that is in certain sectors. I'm not too sure. So Anita, all I would say is maybe if you want to send me an email off air, I'll be happy to talk to you about that. But there isn't any, as far as I'm aware, any agency that specializes for people over 60. And if there was, I think it would be unethical and illegal anyway.
Good answers. Now, this could be asked for one of two possible reasons, and many more, I suspect. But is there an agency in Portugal for people over 60? That could be because Anita has had the bright idea of starting one to give
Okay.
job opportunities. But then it wouldn't be allowed, would it? Or maybe I don't know. It wouldn't really work.
Maybe it would be allowed. But yeah, I guess I mean it's a good idea, right? It's a good idea because it's probably a really interesting
a
job
vast
market.
reservoir.
Yeah,
Yes, a
interesting
vast
group of
reservoir.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But thank you for that, Anita. You may or may not want to tell us more about that, and we'll see if we can help. Morning, y'all. A dark 4:15 a.m. in Florida. Ree, thank you for being here.
Really, that's awesome, mate. Thank you.
Alive and kicking. Check you out at 4:15 in the morning. Thanks, Ree, for being here. I buy back to wine. I buy the cheapest wine. It all tastes good to me, but I do buy the most expensive ginger. The cheaper stuff tastes like turpentine. Beware at bars also. There's some nasty stuff out there. That's the aguardent, isn't it? That they maybe just get rid of from time to time. To the unsuspecting person who's not a connoisseur of such things. Bon dia, Andy from Antonio F. Michelle, have a great day, everyone. I have to leave early. You're excused, T-Duck. Imagine a world without pretentiousness. I would struggle with that. I do like to be pretentious from time to time. I hope to see a few of you at the meetup later today.
That's why he's wearing his collar this morning, like a mime, like one of those mime artists that they wear in the street.
My Marcel, the turtleneck.
I'm kidding, mate. You look very good. You look very sophisticated. I'm enjoying it. You look really good.
Well, I know. I mean, let's be honest. The problem with the turtleneck, polo neck, is that you do look anything like a German U-boat captain, a Silicon Valley worker, a mime artist, like you've said, a very pretentious jazz aficionado. You know, it is risky. Yes. It's definitely risky. Yes. It does bring out the comments, and you know, I'm learning to cope with it. I'll just be you know, crying later on, I suspect. I hope to see a few of it at the meetup from DJ Duck. I do not see many Portuguese wine selections around here in New Jersey. A Trader Joe's, maybe they do that Portuguese one. There's that global Portuguese wine that goes around with the lovely illustrations that we featured from the capital there. What does that mean? Let's not guess. You can give. You can't give a baby booze. No, I know that, strictly speaking, and we would encourage responsible drinking and not
tell that to my parents. Apparently, a nurse told my mother to put cognac in my milk because I wouldn't stop crying. I hope she didn't do it, but
well, yeah, indeed, and I've heard it here in the kids do have had bread and wine. I mean, that was a very sad story that someone told us about in sort of poverty-stricken times back in the day. What kids, there's, you know, I don't know how true it is. I have no reason to disbelieve it, but you know, extremely poverty-stricken people, wine was cheap, as is often the case, isn't it? You can still get hold of the wine as a kind of anesthetic for life, and bread, of course, it needs to be cheap and available for people. And that was a breakfast, wine-soaked bread. So although you're absolutely right, Pam, we shouldn't be giving children alcohol. It happens, and it did happen, didn't it? Probably more so in the past. That sounds like so much fun. What, giving alcohol to children? No. Do they have that weekly or monthly? I'm not sure what that is. Sorry, Carl, we're on the road. We'll be more verbose tomorrow. No problem at all. That must take priority, getting out there and enjoying Portugal. That's what we're all about. Yes, waiting for your questions for Michael. Ha ha! There, I did think of that. What's this? The red carnations that are being crocheted. 25 on the main balcony rail and 3 for the gate. Fantastic. Waiting for your questions to Michael Pete. No, we're not taking questions for Pete. He's just trying to get us in trouble. Yeah. Cancelled, Peter Bleach. I have a few special 25th April Revolution coins in both euro and a escudos, plus a T-shirt. That's good, isn't it? We'll send pictures to Carl. Thank you for those. Loving Vinha Branco from Alentejo, Douro and the Algarve. Never spending more than €5. Loads of good ones to be found for €2 to €3. Isn't that good news? Fantastic. Boo, Benfica hiss. Yikes. No need for that, is there? 25th of April, also celebrated in Italy. That day, 1945, they overthrew the Nazi fascists in World War II. Interesting. A few of us in Belfast have a special T-shirt that is for that also. Bella ciao. Thank you for that, Deagle. Yes, and yeah, we'll have a look at those pictures if we have time this morning. Otherwise, we'll carry them forward to tomorrow. Loving local Algarvian wines. Not a region I think that's especially famous in Portugal, but I'm glad you're enjoying them. Regarding the wall chart, search online and print it out. Should be plenty of choices. It's not the same, though, is it, as pulling one out from the middle of a magazine? and
No.
ripping it.
I'm not having that. I'm not having that as an
Not having it.
alternative. No.
He's a
Absolutely
very he's an IT person. That would be his solution to that, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Digital, print it out. No. Good morning from
Nuno,
Nuno.
good morning.
Thank you for the suggestion, though, Matty. We're
Yeah,
planning
we appreciate it.
planning to be in Portugal 2 years for 50th anniversary. Oh, in 2 years' time. Okay, not for 2 years altogether. It's only 48 days till I'm back in Portugal, then out again in October. Fantastic. I can tell you're looking forward to it, Deagle. You defo get a sticker album, so you do, don't you? And we know, Michael, don't we, that if you get the whole set, if you're lucky enough to get the whole set of stickers, you've probably spent about 6,000 euros, haven't you?
Yeah.
In total with Panini. That's what they're called. Usually,
They used to be called Panini, yeah.
I'm an artist, says Deborah Davies. Yes! A World Cup chart made by an artist.
Okay,
Fantastic. That is going to be beautiful. Yes,
oh, wow, Deborah, we're all over that. We're all over that. Why don't we do it? Why don't you do it as like a charity thing? So we could make it and people buy it, and then you could donate the money to a
fantastic idea. Fantastic. Yeah. There will be an associated cause, I think, won't there, with the Qatar World Cup of some sort that we can appropriate that raised money too. Great idea, Deborah. Yes, let's talk about that. Let's get our people talking to your people. I know nothing about football though, so I'll need lots of guidance. I mean, that's a really good start, I think. The new interpretation of the World Cup football chart done by an artist, Deborah Davies. There, he's on the plane. I think a suggestion. Why doesn't the Expats Portugal community start the tradition of the World Cup chart hanging on? Yeah, so it's all coming together. We're loving
all
this
coming
plan.
together. Yeah, great minds think alike. Fantastic, absolutely.
No mistake there. Oh, okay. We got an update on the lads' day out. We like our pets. Fair enough. Okay, it's a mutual interest.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was really teasing.
Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 beers, but on our bikes. So not too many. Can you imagine? Too many beers on the bikes. Home with a new. I've bought this fish. I love this. I saw this fish.
Imagine getting arrested at the pet shop for like drink driving. Just so random.
I will try. Or going home with an iguana. Don't drink too much. I will. They have chameleons in the pet shops here. It's incredible.
There was a footballer at Norwich who, because footballers at their Christmas parties, they can be a bit ridiculous and give.
I imagine, yes.
Yeah, there was a footballer who was given like this huge connect like this. I can't remember what type of bird, but it was a type of bird that he was given because the joke was he'd never been seen with a bird before. So he had to like take it home, this huge thing in a cage. They had to take it back to the pet shop or whatever. But yeah, that's the story that I thought was
happy times. It's humor has changed so much, isn't it? And there are so many things that perhaps shouldn't be done now that just seem so acceptable, didn't they, in the 70s and 80s? Michael, did you sit your Portuguese language test? How was it? Have you done that?
Yeah, do you know what? I haven't actually yet, but I plan to soon. But basically, I think you have the option of doing a written or an oral one. Yeah, I'm probably going to do the oral test. I think it's very straightforward.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, keep us up to date with that, won't you? Yeah. Slug Trap mentioned a beer and snails there. The boss used to drag us. That's the sort of boss you want, isn't it? Who takes you to the pub for the World Cup games, even if you don't like football. It's a great little afternoon out. It's bonding as well. It's team building.
Exactly.
Well, don't ever pronounce the H at the beginning of a Portuguese word. But what do I say? Please, João, Antonio, Caracóis on the sign. Do I not say that, or do I just say Caracóis? Ew, snails. Who first looked at those nasty, slimy things and thought that would be fabulous?
Yeah, just means like there are, right? So there are Caracóis, for example. Yes, you don't.
You would say Caracóis. Okay, thank you very much for that pronunciation tip there. More with Philomena, of course, on Friday, Feel Good Friday. Well, the answer to that is someone who was hungry, I suspect. How everything got tested and eaten by human beings. They must have been really hungry, right? And a condition many of us are fortunate enough not to have to face too often here in this community. Portuguese joke. Do you know the name Alan Tejano's Give to Snails? I like a Portuguese joke, Michael. Do you know the answer to that?
I don't.
I'm looking forward to that. Bon dia, Gumpas from Tavira. Jim and Jana, just taking a quick break from putting the house together and wanted to stop by and say hi all. I hope to be able to join you all again soon. Looking forward to it. Escargot drowned in butter and garlic. I think we do prefer the French. Sorry to say. just brought up on those restless animals. That's the punchline, Michael. That is very good.
Wow, amazing.
Love it. Because we can't say that. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Silent H. Very good. Remember that, everybody. All right, everyone. I've got it
You're
now.
getting battered, mate. Yes, this is what we like to see. Correct your
men like ponds, dogs, aviaries, and motorbikes. So let me just check with you, Michael. Are you a man or not? Ponds?
Let me. Right, I can tell you, I definitely don't like ponds.
Dogs?
I have no idea what aviaries are. I don't know what that is.
Aviaries. That's bird cages or bird.
Okay, definitely not. Not a fan of motorbikes. Dogs, I don't mind, but I've never owned one, so I can say none to all of them.
Rubbish. He didn't pass that test, Joe. I'm afraid he has not passed that test.
No.
I do like ponds. I like dogs. I do like, and I've never ridden a motorbike, so I'm only partly manly there by that assessment. The punch. This is great. The punchline is that Alentejanos are considered to be slow in terms of moving. That relates to the fact that the Alentejo region being very hot in the summer, and they work slower because of the heat. And it's one of those jokes, I think, isn't it? It's like, a little bit like the Mexican fisherman joke. It's like, oh, Alentejo people, it's slow over there and it's hot and the food is great and the wine is great and they have a great style of living. We're jealous, really. That's why we make jokes. Superbox sound card is actually very nice. Yes, I had one of those yesterday, I have to say. Maybe that's why
you must be approaching the year soon, right?
I've not drinking yet. On my birthday, July 7th, I'll be drinking again. Yeah, and it'll be con alcohol. Believe you me. Yeah. I'm being traumatized. All this talk. Oh, sorry, banana slug. Yes, this is upsetting for you. And storing them dead in jars. Yes. Don't know what to say about that. Sorry, banana slug. But no one eats slugs, really, today. I mean, no one's that hungry, I think. Bifana and a mini. Okay, so we're talking of beers and snacks. Yes, you could escalate from the snails and the tiramisu to a Bifana, couldn't you? Which is a fantastic thing to do in a local cafe. Got a good one locally where all of the workmen seem to go. I took Jay and Diane there. We had a great time. Blanch, boil, steam. Okay, so that's the way to do it with the snails. So people would say snails are faster than the Alentejanos. That's a great joke. Thank you for that. No disrespect for the April 25th revolution, but for me, it's more important for being my late father's birthday. Okay. He said they made the revolution as a birthday present to him. What a lovely thing to be able to say, Joao F. So, love and respect for your late father there. Ketchup crisps, from one extreme to another. Ketchup crisps are lovely. I agree with you, but they can hurt a little bit. They're one of those things, a bit like boiled sweets. If you have too many, it can hurt your mouth. I've discovered. Carla Michael, are there barnacles? Ask anything about Portugal that are eaten straight out of the sea. Are those fearsome goose barnacles? Is it?
They're so dangerous to fish as well.
There's a great sea.
Huh?
Don't you cook them? I mean, I think the part of the question here is just you eat them straight out of the shell.
I think so.
Ooh,
Or you meant to cook them? I'm not sure. I think you do eat them straight out of the shell. I'm pretty sure you do.
Right. Okay. All right, the goose barnacle. Look it up, but not yet.
There's a really good. I think there's a National Geographic video on YouTube with what's his name, Gordon Ramsay, and a Portuguese barnacle fisherman. Yeah. Showing how dangerous it is to fish for barnacles in Portugal. They do like a little segment, and Gordon nearly gets swept out to sea. It's pretty funny, but it's definitely worth watching. Yeah, definitely worth watching.
Imagine you had a thing or two to say about that experience. Cheese and onion, salt and vinegar, people's favourite crisp coming in. 47 watching live, 17. You all know who the non-thumb touching ones are. Come on, it's not a witch hunt for likes, everybody. What are tapas? Okay, I'll get because Michael's the ideal person to answer that question with a bit of Spanish heritage going on in it. So I think he will certainly be able to answer that in just a moment. So let me start that. Andy says, I live near that wind tower, and there are two there now. Amazing. That was so random, and yet somebody knows something about it. There's always 6 degrees, aren't there? If my father was still alive, it'd be 109, says Joao F. And that'll be on the next celebration of the revolution there. 10 years ago, our daughter ordered egg and chips in a cafe in Algesur. The owner came out of the kitchen to see who had ordered a dish that had never been ordered before. Lovely tasting eggs, yeah. Egg and chips, ovos rotos, all of that, real good here in Portugal. Question that came in, Michael. Are you all right for maybe 5 or 10 minutes more this
Yeah,
morning?
apologies to everyone for my intermittent disappearing. It's just I'm not feeling too well, so I have to keep blowing my nose, coughing.
You're a legend, but I think we'll make up for that time off the screen. So maybe you owe us about 5 or 10 minutes for all those cough breaks.
Sure,
Not
definitely.
coffee breaks, but cough breaks. Okay. What are tapas, and what is the Portuguese equivalent?
So tapas are just what the Spanish call like little sort of dishes of food. So it originates from tapa means to cover, and it originates from the old days in Spain where they used to put a little plate of food over their drinks to stop flies flying into them. So that's where the word tapa originates from. It means literally just the top. And then the Portuguese version is called petiscos. So it's just like a little portion of food that you'd have with a drink before having your main meal, or lots of little dishes that you'd eat to share with people instead of having a meal. That's basically what it means, Ree. But you'd enjoy it, mate. You'd enjoy it. Tuck in when you're here.
Yeah, absolutely, Ree. Now, talking of pretentious, I ate at quite a fine place yesterday. I have to say.
Did you? Where did you?
Yes, I did. I didn't have my polo neck on, and I should have, because before the food came, after I ordered my sea bass, which was done on, I think, with a kind of carbohydrate of quinoa and shrimps. It was served on a bit of quinoa and shrimps. And I had a breaded egg as my starter. It was very good. But before that came, an amuse-bouche came.
Ooh.
To nibble on. Can you believe that? An amuse-bouche.
Lovely.
It seemed like the right time to mention it right now. Question for you, Michael.
You've changed. I don't recognise who you are anymore.
And I know that you like it.
As the number of subscribers goes up on the Portugal on your channel, you'll just gradually metamorphose into this refined gentleman with.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be shouting for amuse-bouche. People will need to bring me amuse-bouche during the show.
Instead of Luisa bringing you coffee, there'll be like this servant with white gloves just appearing.
Absolutely. Yes, that's right. Yes, Umberto or Rodrigo, who will be here to cook me amuse-bouche.
You may want to get rid of this comment, mate. This one looks really dodgy to me.
Okay, Andy, Andy lived near Swaffham.
You're joking. Wow, Andy. There's two. Oh my God,
yes.
Andy knows what I'm talking about. That's insane.
I was in a rural village and they gave free walnuts with a beer. Yes, that's a kind of amuse-bouche, isn't it? And you can buy nice plain flour, very fine chipsticks, cheaper. Oh, they're the palitos, aren't they? The fine chipsticks over here. And that's a funny old thing here in Portugal, isn't it? You get a hot dog and it's covered in chipsticks. Which must be a nightmare for the staff, because most of them don't end up in your belly, do they? They go everywhere, all over you.
I do quite like it. I don't mind it. I'm a bit partial because it's what they used to make bacalhau abrash as well, right?
Sprinkling of them. Yes, indeed. Yes, for every occasion. Farewell, everyone. Dinner is ready. Have a lovely day. Good evening to you. Have a lovely day. The rest of the day in Oz. And my neighbours have a yoga studio in the Algarve. They even do a yoga and laundry session. Yoga and laundry.
What's yoga and laundry?
I guess
washing their clothes.
Maybe washing their
At
yoga
the local
pants.
Supermarket. So they're doing yoga in the aisles, and they're like, okay, we need more information on that one. Definitely,
it works really well for the van lifers. Oh, I see. You can put your laundry on because literally people do their dirty.
Okay, no, I get it.
Yeah, we're there. We're with you now. It's a shame that I had to know that from you. I should have known that. My apologies with Pam. I wonder what that was about. Michael, you surprised me to say that Brits complain. I guess a noisy turbo.
Well, like the wind turbines silently complain, right? I mean, that's what we're renowned for.
It's just a slight whirring sound, and it's a British person complaining in the background. Yeah. I bought a Portuguese white wine for under €2. It was great, and even had a cork.
Even had a cork.
included in the. So you know what he means, though. It wasn't plastic.
Yeah, of course. I just love the fact that my man thinks he's sophisticated because he's not buying like a carton of wine. It's in a real glass bottle and a cork and everything.
He could have said it even had a bottle. Exactly. Screw tops.
No, I'm only teasing. That's awesome.
No, he's a big boy. Crypto Pants is a great lad. He'll enjoy that. And Milk Tray Man, yes. Be careful. See, again, that's another thing you can't do these days is climbing through the window to leave chocolates. It upsets people. Jeez. It's all gone, Michael. Trader Joe's is right down the street from me. They do not sell alcohol in you. What? They don't sell
They don't sell
alcohol.
alcohol in New Jersey. That can't be true.
Not anywhere. I've seen movies where people are drinking in New Jersey. I'm sure. Today is Dia Mundial for Ejercicio Físico. Is that physical exercise?
Yeah.
For the world. Get out there, everybody. Go to Expats 50 plus Vitality and make sure you do a little bit of physical exercise, given it's the World Day of it. If it's the only day you do, join us. Michael, I was given look, confessions of infants here.
There you go. That probably explains why we are the way we are, right?
Yes. That's why he was so glad to get €2 wine.
Yeah,
Michael, I was also given whiskey.
He's been conditioned. He's been conditioned.
Not funny. Bon dia a todos. Genie! Many flavors in the chips, but I didn't find any paprika chips in Portugal. I think they're there somewhere. You probably have to go somewhere sophisticated, where I go, like Aldi. Carl or the other one, Leclerc. Go, vamos, Leclerc.
I love the way you say Leclerc.
I know a bit of on it. Carl ABBA won Eurovision that night in London with Waterloo. That sets the scene, doesn't it?
Wow.
How does it feel to have won the war? Has a question about Portugal. Here's a question about Portugal. How are addresses assigned? I think after lunchtime, after people have had a few drinks, quite frankly, finding things can be quite a challenge. So numbering systems, I mean, when you go into an apartment block and you see that diretto and everything else on the mailboxes, I mean, how do they cope with that, the mail people here?
Yeah, and also I find, like, when you order stuff online, I find depending on who's delivering your product, there's a different level of sophistication over how well they can read your address and know how to ring the doorbell depending on where you live. And some people just don't get it; they just start all over the shop. So yeah, it
is confusing. I've got two addresses. One official one don't get unofficial one.
Because you're an international man of mystery. You've got over 10,000 subscribers. We've created a monster, people, on this show. He's now bigger than his boots. He's wearing this, ridiculous. No, I'm kidding.
So I eat escargot in a polo neck these days.
Exactly.
Where can t-shirts be printed with designs in Portugal? Leria, I had one printed. I do make my own. I make my own illustrations as well, and I had one of them done on a t-shirt. Leria, shop in Leria downtown. You can do that. I think there's a lot of places actually in those sort of print-on-demand kind of shops, and you print on coffee cups, anything. So that you will find those shops around and about in Portugal. I'm gonna have to whiz through these. Michael's got to go do some work. Everybody, Shane the one. I don't look like him, do I? Back in my day, whiskey was. Oh, he probably drank whiskey as a child. Yeah. Back in my day, whiskey was used on babies' gums to alleviate teething pain. Don't remember if it helped with teething pain, but it probably quietened the baby down.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm on board, Gene, on board.
First impression of Carl Munson was definitely as an arrogant, haughty Silicon Valley U-boat captain.
Some of us can agree with that.
Where did it all go wrong? Yeah. Where did it all go wrong, Michael? I will buy a chart for sure. Oh, yes. So this idea is great. Can we get 40 likes in the next 8 minutes? Well, let's see. South Africa says Anita and Lisbon had the best World Cup charts. I'll ask my friends. Maybe some still have one. And we'll let you know. And we can base it on that. That's very good stuff. Regarding the language test, if you complete an A2 course, do you still have to take the test? You do, don't you? You still have to go along for that, Victoria. It was a quote from Vic Reeves, Big Night Out. What we missed that. I think I did wonder if anyone would get the reference. I think we've missed that. I'm so sorry. Pam, maybe pop it again quickly on the screen before we go. Good gumpers, fondle that like button, everybody. Maxine is here. Karakoish. All right, Maxine very rarely comments, but when she does, it's to correct my Portuguese. And I'm not complaining about that, Maxine. It's a vital service you provide. I take it for the team. Joe saying what men like was a question for men over 50s. Now they like gyms, TikTok, six-packs, and women with silicone lips. What happened? If you haven't done so, smash that like button, everybody. Maybe. But a lot of fun this morning with Michael. It's been great to have you here. Very quickly, Michael, Avanlight, what is it you do? Because people will be wondering about that.
Yeah, so the main thing is business development and marketing and PR consultancy, mainly for law firms, but we're now expanding to other sectors as well. But also, if you're an individual looking to relocate to Portugal, we can assist you with that as well. Any questions about Portugal, we can assist with that too. Yeah. So anything.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. As a baby, I was drinking from my father's beer bottle. German, you see, when I left the room, and they put beer in my soother. I'm not surprised about that. Over there in Germany. So last few comments. Then we have a potato chip company in Salem, Oregon, called Kettle Chips. They have a great dill pickle flavor.
Nice.
That's pretentious way of saying salt and vinegar, isn't it? I bought sardines in. I'll have some. I bought sardines in Nazare for €9, and what I thought was a free starter like tapas, a roll, squid, tuna, and a croquette-looking thing, and it ended up being €7 extra. Watch out for that; those extras. CR7, go back to sporting. Interesting.
No, they can't afford it. They can't afford him.
Willie, not, and that's okay. So that's not going to happen. No, just one. Oh, so just one turbine read out twice. We've doubled the turbines in Swaffham. Now living in Norwich keeper, moving to Portugal within 2 years. We hope. Who is the Norwich keeper?
I'm surprised you see him often. Last time I saw him, he was running back into our goal to get the ball back.
Hey, only at liquor stores and not in supermercados. There you go. That's the clarification about New Jersey there. Apartments have 2 doors per floor, left and right. It's easy when you know how. Esquerdo, is it? And Diretto, I think. Yeah, Carl, the Jason Bourne of address. Yes, plus my 12 passports, of course. I wish everyone a Bill Withers. Nice one, Owen. We know what that means. Lovely day. Californian soul to everyone in Bergen County where I am. There's a Sunday blue law. No retail sales, but you can still buy booze. Funny old world we live in, isn't it? On the day when we talked about giving alcohol to infants, which we don't recommend, we found out about Michael's past as a wind turbine tour operator, which was a surprise to me.
Jesus, that sounds so unglamorous, doesn't it?
And we may well launch an artistically interpreted. Hold on, what's this?
That for me is a big takeaway. Let's get this wall chart. I'm all over this. I'll help as much as you need. Coordinate this.
You're loving this, aren't you?
Yeah. Big time.
Okay, sorry. Just to clarify, there really are 2 turbines now. Come on, make your mind up, Andy. I think it's 2, but still no sign of Tim, the keeper.
Yeah, he's still looking for his boy.
It's been hammered through the back of the net there.
Yeah, he's been hammered.
Yeah, so this World Cup thing, I mean, we could use cork in it. I think Deborah's going to be amazing. Dee Dee's going to be incredible with this. She's going to, as an artist, she'll probably be using found items. She'll be using Portuguese-inspired things. Maybe sardines are on it. Maybe snails even.
Yeah.
To reflect some of the gold.
Cocker in the corner for sure.
Cocker in the corner. I hope that's going to be there. But seriously, how much do they sway in the breeze, Michael?
You tell me, Andrew. You know these things better than me, my friend. I haven't got problems with things not breezing anymore. Maybe you do, so you can tell everyone what you think.
He brings it out in me, Ree. The giggling is always just there, ready to come out when Michael Heron is around. Thank you so much, mate, for being here this morning. Look forward to being with you again next month.
Sorry again, everyone, for my sniffling and coughing. But it's been a pleasure.
We're just glad you could make it. Don't forget, tomorrow is impress your friends. Let them know that it is International Day of the Windmill here in Portugal. And I think Michael will go to a few legal offices tomorrow and just drop that fact in there. Yeah. And maybe he'll be wearing a polo neck tomorrow just to see how his social.
Next month I'll wear a polo neck. All hail to the Munson.
And we'll do some of this, shall we, on the screen?
Yeah,
as well.
Definitely, mate. Definitely.
Okay, all right. Great to see you, mate. Get well soon.
Bye-bye.
Ciao for now. We'll see you in the morning. What's happening to Wiley's here in the morning, everybody? Wiley's here in the morning. And we'll be talking about, if anything you want to know about buying a house in Portugal, she can help with that. But she specifies, or she focuses on Cascais over there in Estoril. So anything you want to know about that particular hot spot of property and anything at all about buying property, she's very helpful in that regard. Wiley tomorrow in the morning, and in the evening, the webinar with volunteering in Portugal with Pam as a star and a supporting cast of Will Smith and Chris. No, of the other Ask Our Expats folks will be joining us tonight from 7:30, and of course the Q&A, the Premium Plus Q&A at 9. Looking forward to seeing some of the folks who are on that plan. Join me then, and on Friday, of course, Philomena Friday. Philomena will be here for Feel Good Friday, and we'll be singing, folks. We'll be singing a very important song in Portuguese culture. You have a great day now. Ciao, ciao for now. See you later. Where is that video when I need it? Oh, here we go. Bye.